Oh, hello and welcome to this quick tutorial. Well, hopefully a quick one. I think turns out it's not a very quick one, but yes, not a lot to cover, but a quick tutorial on map editor for City Skylines 2. Now, there are few map editor tutorials showing few stuff, mostly how to import maps, and I think that's the only thing that they are dealing with. I've tried to find something that covers few more things that are not really used by map creators. So let's get started. Let's see what's missing. So this is the map editor, and there are a few things that are missing in a map creator's creations. I've been going through the maps posted recently as of August 2024. I think I got back to a month till July. I found some maps that are interesting, as in using some stuff a bit more, some different stuff, like a few more options that you can find in map editor in City Skylines 2. The most interesting option is a map tiles, and to manipulate them and change them and modify them, create new ones, delete old ones, and make the map, especially buying map tiles, a bit more interesting. The other option, and we're gonna start actually with them, is starting year. Out of possibly 30 maps that I went through first, I think I found one or two that were using a different year to the current year. So there are two options. As a default, you've got a use current year as a starting year. So turn it off, untick it, and honestly, change it. Especially if you can slide it, yeah, if you want a keep sliding, especially if you are a map creator that is recreating maps from ages ago, like for example 16th century or even 5th century, AC or BC, doesn't matter. It would be good to have the date different than 2024, or next year it would be 2025. So another thing that was mentioned in the forums some time ago, apparently the game has got a year limit, so time limit. Can't remember what it was. Maybe it was a bug, maybe it was a blip. If there is any, just simply add to our game another 2000 years, and let's go back to the year 20, for example. That's it. As simple as that. People are changing, yes, the month, possibly changing, or maybe it's the current month. Let's change it to January or February, as in this case, and yes, we can start daytime points any time of the day. It doesn't matter in the case of people who are using the option to switch the day-night cycle off. It's gonna be 12 o'clock all the time. So yeah, it's always good to use it. And I think the last option before we move on to map tiles is capture camera position, and I will explain that in a moment, because that's a annoying one as well, especially when starting a map. So I've chosen a map. I picked up a map that is absolutely great for with map tiles. I think there were more actually originally created back in March. One of them is very famous and very, very well done. So I found a more recent one, less known. And it's not the map I would like to play on. It's not my favorite, but it's a very good example of how that should be done, especially if we had some help from Colossal Order. And there is one thing missing well, one major thing missing in the map editor as well as in the game. So I found Go to Islands, Go to or Goto, not sure, might be Gato, Gatu, whichever language it is used. And let's load it and let's see what it was in here. What is missing? Well, let's stop first on the map. So this is the starting point. The same is gonna be in the game, apart from those colorful bars. These are just for changing the details in the editor. So camera position, let's go to the map menu. At the moment it's captured as a very close to the ground. So if I move it, each time you move somewhere else in the map, you just follow close to the ground. So if we go further down south, I suppose, let's go with the stream flow. I think it goes this way. I don't know how long it's gonna take, because these maps are maybe not massive, but they are larger than in the Skylines one. So this is starting point of the camera, the height of it, and it's annoying. I have to say it's annoying. Yes, you can clearly see the beginning of it, but you do not operate, you do not build at this height. You usually zoom out. This one was not bad, it wasn't too low, but you could have it higher, like for example here. So every player can actually start from this height, don't have to adjust too much, and that's, yeah, perfect. So that's one thing. Then you obviously can change direction, you can do it completely top-down view, and just simply select capture camera position. So those numbers will change. There we go. And again, different one from a different area. This one, numbers changed again. There we go. What I'm using here is one mod. A mod is called Free Range Camera. That's just simply to zoom out as much as you can and see whole, well, almost whole map. Well, it's all of it playable, and the world map that is beyond the playable area, which is still not accessible, but maybe one day, is not always shown fully. You would have to tilt the camera to see all of it. So what's missing is and what is used and would be lovely to use a lot, is a contour lines. The magic contour lines that are actually showing the terrain, how it looks like. Because if I see a screenshot of a map, which happens very, very rarely currently, map creators, please do some screenshots of your maps, not postcards, not postcard views, not pretty sunset views, just do the maps, please. This doesn't tell me much about this area here, for example, at the bottom, whole of it actually. I can gather that there is a ridge here that's very steep because that's shown, and from those darker areas there might be some hill here, but it doesn't tell me. Now I would love to have a contour lines layer, a layer that can be used with other tools together. At the moment you need to go to add object, not object, or modify terrain, and use one of those. Now you can see that there is a hill or a group of hills, and there is a possibly few former river places where they were running at some point in the past. You can see sometimes some map creators have done a very nice underwater geology terrains, so it's not flat, it's simply mountainous. So that's very useful as well to know sometimes. Like in this case, if you've got a mod that is for tides, that may reveal some terrain underwater or even flood some terrains, so you can actually see which ones are prone to flooding and which ones are gonna be revealed, and how much of it as well, because that now you can see that this area is quite steep while this one may have very nice beaches. Now this is one thing about the contour lines. The other thing that they will be useful for, and they were possibly useful for this person creating, for this map creator, is a map tiles. So map tiles, you'll find them, if you didn't know, it's add object actually one, areas, map tile. Or simply, if you don't know where it is, just simply type in, not this one, I think it to be here, tile, and you've got it on top actually, map tile. So this is what you need to find. So just delete this one, it's area, map tile, and you've got map tiles. What this person has done is deleting some map tiles to create some larger ones and merging them basically, and dividing others to create a very granular map reveal. So if it comes to buying some areas, you don't buy a full square that is not at all linked to your terrain on the map. It's got nothing to do with the terrain, closer order. But you're buying for example, a beach, a plateau, or a slope, or even a valley I don't think this is a full mountain range. Well, not the range, but one of the two mountains or something like that. This one is, yeah, plus a bit of a bay. So, or even a whole island, and that's it, with surrounding waters. Or sometimes half of it, depending how you want to divide it. Now, a helpful thing with it is to have contour lines. So if you want to divide this massive mountain here, the range, mountainous range here, into, let's say, west and east, you need to go along the ridge, just the top line of the mountains here. That's done here, more or less. I think it's mostly because it shows on the image, but sometimes you've got very gentle hills, rolling hills, or whatever way you want to call it, and it's impossible to see it because they have some ridges as well. It's impossible to see what's what. For example, you can't see in here if that hill here starts with this line as it's marked by the map tiles border? Or does it start here actually? Because it seems to be actually having a bit darker area here, which we might be able to find out in a second, because at the moment you have to keep switching between two options. There we go. And it's quite a steep one, but you can't really see that. And the best is clicking between them is a very long process actually, because going back to contour lines, you need to click modify terrain at the bottom of the screen and then run to the top of the screen to choose one of the terrain tools. That's not very user-friendly, I would say. Shortcuts would be good, but still I would like to have this one, this layer, staying while I'm creating map tiles. Oh, it's gone. So this is what Colossal Order could improve on. Hopefully that will be done at some point. I think they've got it on their radar, so we'll see soon. Oh, sooner or later it will be here. And let's go back to creating additional map tiles. So that's very easy, but there are some little quirky things that you need to keep an eye on, and it's not really hard to work on it. So it's like a district, painting the district. So it's basically just drawing a line in a new way that is done by Colossal Order in Skylines 2. It is, I have to say, because I'm doing it on one of the maps, it is absolutely long process, mostly because the contour lines are not helpful. They are basically non-existent, as we can see. That you need to switch using two buttons to get them, and then trying to remember where which one goes. So that's not very helpful. Now, if you wanted to modify the map tiles, you need to, so first thing, let's remove something. Let's remove this node in here. Be aware that you need to highlight the correct map tile. If you move it slightly, you may have 4 of them highlighted, which means that all 4 corners will be removed. There we go. But if you highlight just one of them, and this is very interesting, so I'll keep it for later. So let's join them back. So let's put them back on. So grabbing the somewhere in the middle of the, well, not the middle, anywhere on this border, dragging whenever you want it. If you're using a no, it's not showing this one. Well, you can do it exactly as it was, or you can do it differently. So let's do it as it was by using those angles shown in here, and make sure that it snaps to the newly created node. And that's fine. That's perfect. So now the one that I just discovered, and that's gonna be this one. Let's keep it for later. It's quite a few of them actually. Don't know what was going on here. So let's see this one. It highlights 2 of them. Let's see what's gonna happen. There we go. Both of the nodes were deleted for those 2 map tiles. It didn't do anything for those 2. So that's how it works. Back on. Let's see this one, because that's telling me that there's something missing in here. Because normally, that's very interesting, you would have broken something as well. Let's see how it works. So basically there would be no blue line in the middle. There would be all 4 map tiles highlighted. Right click. yeah, it works as it's supposed to be. So there's nothing wrong going on. So this is a newly created empty area, and let's add some new shapes to it. So something simple. Let's call it simple. Let's not do it on the border, just to make it easier. Let's do it this way. So I would like to create a new shape in here, just a new map tile of a different shape, not very usual one. So I need to start somewhere. Usually the best is start to the easiest point, so just one of the nodes, somewhere in the middle of the border, not where two borders are meeting, because that's a bit harder. Let's start with the hardest option. So if I highlight just one of them accidentally, I think it's working, but let's see what's gonna happen. First of all, it's not working because it shouldn't be telling me that I cannot, that I've got overlapping items either way. So something is wrong. Let's see if doing both of them helps. It doesn't. So to go around it, you need to go to the next point, or if it's very, very hard, we'll show you that in a moment, create a point somewhere away from a node somewhere away from the other one, from the border. So snap it to this one, snap to the next one, overlapping items but in orange. That means that you can do it, it's a warning only. This one, I hopefully join all of them. And to this one, this one, and this one. Oh, it's not working very well here. I know that sometimes you just need to move around to find what's going on, but if it's not helping, just simply move on to the next one. And those missing ones, you can create a new map tile in here in the middle, or just simply do it this way. Now, be aware that you need to have snapping on, so those nodes here are joining each other. Otherwise, you're gonna create something unwanted. So let's go back to this one, and let's accidentally create a node that is not snapping to anything. This one, and this one as usual. What it's done is a warning showing here. Now that warning, because it's a water, that warning's on a different level, so you can't see it very well. But if you leave it like this, especially on the ground, it's gonna work. It's not doing anything to your gameplay, apart from the looking few red dash lines somewhere left on the map, and that's just not pretty. It's a bit annoying sometimes. So to undo it, make sure that you highlight the node that the border the node is on. So to check it, just choose which map tile it is. So it's either this one, so you need to highlight it by hovering the cursor over the map tile and keeping that a moving point on the border. There is no, oh, I just clicked on it. It's deleted, and there is now there is no node in here. But if you highlight the other one and make sure that it's highlighted, just one of them is highlighted, not both of them at the same time, because then you just don't know which one is which. Move to the other one, over the other one, and see, oh yeah, there is a node in here. So just either delete it by right clicking and everything's fine, back to normal, or create a new one on this style. So let's maybe That's not allowing me to do it because that's a node in here. Let's maybe, how can we do it? Oh, it's allowing me to do it. How did I do it? So, oh, that's interesting. So to move one of the borders, you need to create a node on one of them only, not on both. So if you've got two map tiles highlighted, that means that you are doing it on both of them, which is useful because then you're just simply creating both of the borders together. If you want just one of them to create something in the middle, just grab it, highlight just that map tile and grab it, and you're done. So we are creating now a new node. So for example, yes, we've done this one incorrectly, and we've got that red dashed line. And we know that this map tile has got a node, but this one doesn't. So just highlight that border, grab it somewhere, drag it, and then I need to find a node on the other one, which would be useful if it was highlighted, but it's not really an issue, a very big issue if it's snapping. So make sure that your snapping option is on. Done. Both of them have a node in here, which is perfect because you can grab it, move it, and change that shape of it. So there is a niche, there is a issue, a bit of an issue when you've got very tiny map tiles. So let's a very well shaped border that is a, I'm just trying to create something. Let's do it this way. Let's move it a bit differently, like here, and this one maybe a little bit further away, and this one this way, and this one this way. Something like this. That is really hard to fill in. This one is going to be actually terrible to do. So what I would suggest is, first of all, turn off the snapping option. That's unhelpful at the moment because it's going to keep snapping all the time, because you need to create a few entries here. You could do it this way, that you're just simply creating amount of nodes that you need, and that would be brilliant. And I think that would be actually enough. Oh, that's snapping. So put the snapping on back on in here, and let's get back to work. So this one goes here, that one here, this one goes here. It's a lot easier on the land, because it's this dot, because it's not even deep sea at the moment, but this dot is showing the bottom of the sea, so it's not aligned. So let's do it. A top-down view might be helpful. It's not really helpful either. This one is going here, that one is going to this one, yep, and this one in here, and this one in here, and this one in here. And this is what we want to have. Might be this way as well. So this is one of the solutions that you can have in very tight areas. You can manipulate with it, just using snapping option or snap to existing geometry. Didn't try that one actually, but it might be useful as well. So this is it with creating and deleting map tiles and changing their shapes and manipulating them. I don't know how much it's gonna cost me this one to buy in City Skylines now when playing the game, but it's gonna be fun. So as I said, a contour lines would be really helpful, and not would be, it's not even would, they will be helpful, and they are missing. Just to make those maps really fantastic and really interesting. This map is actually interesting. It's just not my type of the map to do it on an island and with a very steep slopes, which I understand. Sometimes you can have something like that, yes, but not all of it. Not all of it. But I can see, I would say that this map is done from scratch, I think. It might be done from scratch because these are not natural shapes. They are done as close as possible to natural, but it's too many of it, and sometimes they are really repeating it themselves everywhere. So it doesn't look ugly. It looks very interesting. It's very nice, but it's quite clear that it's not natural, at least to me, and I would be surprised if it was. So this is the map and a quick guide to map tiles and how to make the maps interesting in map editor in Skylines 2, and hopefully that will be done. That will be done at some point by Colossal Order, that we can make them easily using some terrain features as an overlay that doesn't disappear, that is still there when you're doing map tiles. So thank you very much for this attention, and I have a lovely evening. Bye.